Hi everyone. Our project was the development of a project-based learning curriculum for 6th and 7th graders at the Alvarado School in Cuenca, Ecuador during C-Term 2020. To give an overview of our presentation today, we'll provide a background on project-based learning, outline our goal, describe some of the projects that we brought into the classroom, share our findings, comment on our experience in Ecuador, and discuss future steps.
Project-based learning is a pedagogical strategy that includes four principal elements: a driving question, situated inquiry, collaboration and scaffolding, and a tangible solution. Our goal was to improve the problem solving and critical thinking skills at the Alvarado School through the development of a project-based learning curriculum for the 6th and 7th grade students at the school.
The methodology we used was to first identify the current teaching practices at Alvarado by using lesson plan evaluations, classroom observations, and interviews with teachers. Then we implemented and continually adapted our lessons by analyzing our findings, which included using an observation protocol for team-led activities, as well as anonymous evaluation forms for both the students and teachers. After implementation, we surveyed the students and teachers and concluded by doing post-implementation interviews with the teachers. These are examples of some of the projects we developed and implemented. In total, we created 8 projects based on topics from the teachers' lesson plans. We did 2 math projects, one about fractions and the other about perimeter and area. In science class, we covered recycling, energy, and ecosystems. For social studies, we created a project about finding and citing credible sources. And in English class, we completed a project about directions and jobs and another about sea animals and activities.
Our first finding based on our pre-implementation evaluation was that there was an understanding and partial incorporation of project-based learning at Alvarado. When looking at the current teaching practices, it was evident that teachers understood the role that engagement played in their students' learning. There were small projects in the consolidation phase that were used as review activities. The short in-class projects lacked a driving question that required research. Instead, teachers gave students necessary information in the prior lesson stages and then tasked them with creating a project to represent what they had learned. Overall, we found that 54% of the observed time was spent participating in project-based learning activities.
Our second finding was that there was positive skill development and an optimistic outlook for the continuation of project-based learning. We learned that 81.6% of students would like more project in their classes. 79.1% of students said that they would learn more with projects rather than without. And 100% of teachers said that they would continue to implement projects in their classes after we left. Based on team-led activity classroom observations, we found that engagement increased with the use of project-based learning. We discovered that when students were creating something new or making decisions, especially during the main phase design of the project, known as the hands-on activity, they had the highest engagement with an average of 86.7% of students engaged. We found that project phases that relied on lecturing had low engagement levels as highlighted in the instruction period.
During implementation, we also found that from the perspective of both the teachers and students skill development improved with project use. Our post-implementation surveys showed that students felt that their skills grew over the 4 weeks during which we implemented our projects. 82.6% of all students reported an improvement in their skills. Teachers also felt that their students' skills improved, with average rankings of 4.4 out of 5, with 5 being high improvement and 4 being some improvement. The table highlights the students' self-reflected skill improvement. One student commented that they learn more and collaborate more with projects, really highlighting the effectiveness of projects. One teacher said that projects develop the students' ability to socialize and work with everyone. And another teacher recommended that Alvarado should begin working with projects from the 5th grade because students grow with this method of learning, and noted that motivation increased with the projects.
Conversations with the teachers, along with surveys we distributed, gave us information about the current limitations hindering the complete implementation of project-based learning at Alborada. Teachers were eager to incorporate project-based learning. However, they noted several limiting factors, including infrastructure, cultural factors, and lack of professional development. The classroom setup currently has students lined up in standard rows, which requires the reorganization of desks into clusters when they participate in group work. The technology issues included spotty Wi-Fi in a computer lab that was not up to date with Wi-Fi, so it was not used by teachers. Additionally, projects require research materials and physical materials for the construction of a final product. Teachers reported receiving pushback from parents in regards to students working on assignments at home. Students currently are not used to completing this type of independent research. Teachers face challenges with classroom management and discipline due to the freedom associated with project work. Planning cross-curricular projects is an opportunity that remains untapped due to the confines of their schedules. Lastly, they felt that they would most benefit from a sharing site for project lesson plans. Based on our findings, we have identified areas of potential growth to promote the continued success of this initiative by engaging the key stakeholders, including the administration, parents, students, and teachers. For the Alborada administration, we recommended organizing information nights to educate parents about the curriculum changes so they could understand the reasoning behind the change and best support their students. They should also invest in infrastructure upgrades, including shifting the classroom setup from desks to tables to foster collaboration and set up reliable Wi-Fi in the computer lab so it can be a resource for students. Finally, they should provide professional development opportunities and workshops where teachers have a specified time to continue learning new strategies as they begin to incorporate this change into their teaching style. For the Alborada teachers, we recommended using projects in all phases of learning to provide a framework through situated inquiry, reinforce topics, and serve as an alternate method of evaluation. We suggested introducing students to communication and interpersonal skills through peer revisions, team charters, and peer evaluations. Finally, teachers should collaborate with one another to plan intercurricular projects that span longer timeframes and combine lessons from various subject areas.
We created deliverables to help with the continued development of a project-based learning curriculum. This guidebook includes all the lesson plans that we used and additional lesson plans for themes that were requested by the teachers. Additionally, we created 2 intercurricular projects, including a project which required students to plan a trip to another country, and another in which students designed a water filtration system and researched different aspects of water and the role of water in life. We created a brochure to inform parents about project-based learning. Finally, we created some tools for the teachers to utilize, such as evaluation rubrics, group work management guides, and an introduction to project-based learning. The experience we had while working at Alborada was unforgettable. We learned the importance of communication with teachers and students and improved our oral communication skills in Spanish. Every day and every period was different, and with this variability, we learned to be patient and flexible. All the students and teachers at Alborada have a passion for learning, which was a refreshing perspective that helped to motivate our team as we learned how to be part of a supportive community. In our last week at Alborada, we were informed that after reviewing the results of our implementation in project-based learning, the school has decided to expand these curriculum changes starting at the 2nd grade level. When the coronavirus hit Ecuador, Alborada switched to remote learning and continues to use a project-based learning curriculum to maintain a flexible, self-guided education structure.
Thank you. Are there any questions?